Okay, boleh.
Okay. So, very good morning to Miss Azrina and to all my fellow classmates. We are Group Animation and we would like to present our proposal today. Okay. So, first, a brief introduction regarding about our proposal. This proposal was created to study the effectiveness of DIY animation tools in learning approaches. So many academic institutes from Indonesia, they already conducted a wide analysis and research on these DIY animation tools as a learning approach. However, research on DIY animation tools is very limited in Malaysia, even though the popularity of these tools among instructors and students is keep rising. As a result, we will conduct research on the perceptions of University Utara Malaysia students regarding the usage of DIY animation tools for academic purpose. So first, let's we look at the research background. So for the research background, we split it into three parts, which is what is animation by previous researchers' point of view, animation as a teaching method, and what is DIY animation tools. So reason for us to split this research background into three parts is in order to help us to identify the problems and also the gaps in the previous research. And we believe this method will assist us to answer the research questions. So let's look at the previous researchers' point of view regarding this animation concept. So animation has been the most significant element of the technology-based education system. It has been mentioned by Dunbar in 1993. By Meyer and Moreno in 2002, they said animation is part of the visual display and includes computer-generated visual that can demonstrate relationship within the sketch elements. And then motion animation is a visual that can portray the action of the physical object. And then second is animation as a teaching method. Also from the previous researchers' point of view, they said visual techniques of teaching have been noticed to evolve in contrast point to verbal forms of teaching. It has been mentioned by Lowe, Lester, and Mosdell in their research paper. The second one is the verbal mode of delivery are long dominant education. The inclusion of graphical methods of presentation as improves students' comprehensive. It has been mentioned by Mayer and Sweller in 1999. Using technology in learning, such as video presentation, provides an environment where the students are inspired and get ease their learning process. So on 2008, Abou Effect, Kiwan, and Seaman mentioned this in their research paper. And then it also assists students in becoming more engaged and comfortable with online learning. And the final one is implementing technology tools into academic context keeps students interested both within the outside of the classroom. And it's been mentioned by Saka, Ford, and Menzo in 2015. Okay. So the next one is what is DIY animation tools? Okay. DIY animation tools is a open source animation software that can be found on the internet. So it is usually used for academic purpose to make the learning process more creative, dynamic, and efficient. So DIY animation software is available to assist in carrying out academic tasks such as presentation and assignment efficiently. So as I mentioned earlier, there is already there is a lot of academic institutions from Indonesia. They conduct wide research regarding these DIY animation tools, but they are only focus on one specific DIY animation tool, which is Photoon. But we have a lot out there like Movely, Animatron, XSplit. So our group, we would like to focus on generally, like we would like avoid choosing one software and focus on it. But instead of doing like that, we would like to come up with a general paper where we discuss generally about the DIY animation tools, because we believe if we choose one specific software, it could limit our research activities for this paper. So the research papers that we gathered to assist our research is we have 9 papers so far, but we believe four papers that are listed on the screen right now is very important and direct to our research questions. So, which is the use of Potun software program in teaching and learning process, the students' perception and challenges. This paper is from Pakuan University Bogor, Indonesia. Students' perception toward the involvement in developing instructional videos using Potun tool. It is delivered by University Technology Petronas, Malaysia. And the third paper is Students' Perception of Vocabulary Development using Video Animation Animaker during Online Learning COVID-19 Pandemic. It is from University Muhammadiyah Gresik. And the last paper is Student Perception in Using Potun Software Producing Program to enhance their ability in learning English. It is from University Bunigora. So these are the four research papers that we feel like it is straight to the point and it is answering our research objectives and questions. So that's all from me. My other group mates will continue this presentation session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chong Kar Hui. Now I'll be talking about the problem statement. So, 10 years ago, it is very hard to make an animated video because it usually takes a very long time to complete, and it needs like a team of very skilled people to produce it. And it gives an impression that it's only certain people which are skilled that are able to produce animation, and normal people like students and just normal people weren't able to make any of that. So due to the pandemic, all the physical classes have been changed to online classes to adapt to the situation. Students from all the schools, including primary school to university, that have been affected greatly. So in Malaysia, we used to conduct our classes in a very traditional and old school way, which is using PowerPoint slides or Microsoft Words, or even just writing on the whiteboard in the class. So when the pandemic hits Malaysia, we are in a desperate need to find a new way to conduct the class online. This is because our students find it very hard to engage and concentrate in their classes because they would often find it very boring just sitting in front of the laptop looking at a plain, still presentation slide or just a picture. So the schools need to find like a very creative way to deliver their lessons so that it can be very effective and actually attract the students' attention. Therefore, animated slides or animated videos become a very good alternative way. It makes the class livelier and more interesting that now the slide not just a still image, but they're actually having some animated GIF maybe, yeah. So during this period, where people start to notice that actually animated slides are working well, there are a lot of DIY animation tools have emerged on the internet. These DIY tools are very easy to use and they are very user friendly. You do not need to go through any professional course, or you do not need to know any skills to make them. And this is actually slowly normalizing the skill of making animation where everyone can acquire it. And they have become a very handy tool in academic purposes. Not only teachers and lecturers will be using the DIY animation tool to make their slides more interesting. The schools also start to distributing assignments to the students so that the student also will acquire the skills to make animated slides or videos in the future to help them in their job or intern. So DIY animation tools provided a very good assistant in turning students and the assignments into like a very more interesting and engaging presentation. So we can see that the DIY animation tools definitely contributing significantly to the academic field during the pandemic. So our research paper wanted to find out how UUM student perception about this DIY animation tool. That's all for me. I'll pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Hi, and I will present to you about research question. So the problem discussed before lead to the following question to be investigated in the study. So number one, can DIY animation tools replace the traditional learning methods? Number two, do DIY animation tools play a significant role in making the learning process easier? And number three, how do DIY animation tools influence student interest in learning? So next slide. For research objective, the main objective of this study is to determine UUM students' perception of the usage of DIY animation tools for academic purpose. To successfully achieve the main objective, 3 sub-objectives are introduced. The sub-objective function as a guideline for the study and are as follows. Number one, to determine the correlation between student interest in learning and DIY animation tools. To help students to be more aware regarding to the use of DIY animation tools, which can facilitate their learning process better. And number three, to determine UUM student perception of the usage of DIY animation tools for academic purposes. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nurhani. I will continue with research scope. We use two methods. The first one is quantitative research, which is a survey will be distributed by the researcher using an open-ended questionnaire to students to understand more about their perspective and obstacles in using DIY animation tools for academic purpose. The survey will be conducted using Google Form and distribute online among students. Second is we use secondary data collection to support the data that we collect from the questionnaire. In this research, we use articles from various sources on the internet related to our study. Thank you. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello everyone, thank you Nurhani. Okay, the last one is a significance of study. In conclusion, the purpose of this study is to provide a solution to gain the student interest to try the animation DIY tool for the presentation and assignment to become more attractive and colorful. For example, DIY animation tool that we can find online for free, which is Auto, Animaker, Lumify, and so on. You can just log in by using your email. In traditional and verse modern, we will make some questions to get to know what kind method that students prefer to choose. After that, the third is analyze how many students are still using the traditional learning method to make their slide presentation and assignment. That's all from us. Thank you.